The NFL looks to Cisco Security, powered by AI, to protect their data from cyber attacks. When the game is on the line, the NFL relies on Cisco.
Morning. Morning. Look, yesterday the NFL removed Jabrill from the commissioner's exempt list. He's on the roster. We had an open spot and fully anticipate him being able to practice soon. The Colts, look, it's going to be a huge challenge for us. I would say defensively, this is one of the better fronts, more disruptive fronts that we have faced this year. We've got to do a good job handling the front. It starts with Buckner, who's been a guy who's played really at a high level for a very long time. You go to the second level, you have Franklin back there. In the third level, Moore and the rest of those guys, they're definitely very good players, and they have a very good defense. I would say offensively, Taylor, he's a problem. We have to try to, go out there and really bottle him up. I think one thing about him, he probably doesn't get the hype that he deserves, but at the same time, he's a very explosive player and a very fast player out there on the field. And it all really runs through him. And saying that, they definitely have a big arm quarterback. So having a guy like Joe Milton to run the quarterback for the show team is definitely going to be good for us. They have good receivers, and I think it starts with Pittman. He's one of those guys that is able to do the dirty work, doesn't shy away from blocking people, and at the same time, he does a good job catching balls over the middle of the field. He's really a fearless guy. Look, they're dealing with some injuries. We'll see what happens, but we're going to prepare as if all those guys are healthy. When you talk about downs, you talk about the tackles, like all that stuff. We're going to prepare as if they're healthy. And like I told the team, it's about us. It's about us. And Wednesdays, days like this, I should say, we always talk about changing the page. This is a Wednesday in my world. We talk about changing the page, and really our full focus is definitely on the Colts. Have an opportunity to come back home, which is always good, and it's good to try to get this thing back on track.
Jerod, with Jabrill, you obviously referred to the NFL for so long now. Now that that's off, do you have a timetable in your mind, and do you anticipate him playing again for you this season?
Look, we put out we put the statement out yesterday from an organizational standpoint of how we want to let this process work itself out. Look, when Pep is ready to go, hopefully we can get him to the game.
Jerod, does that mean? He has a trial date in January.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're not waiting for the trial, his case to resolve?
Yeah, to me, I think it's just out of respect of for the legal process to let that stuff play out. For us inside these four walls, look, as long as he's doing the right thing, I expect him to be able to play when he's ready to go.
Jerod, who is all involved in the decision now that Jabrill has been reinstated for him to practice and play, given this is now under the organization's power, the decision?
Yeah, I would say it's a combination of things, and again, I'm grateful for how ownership has allowed Elliot and myself to make these types of decisions. We'll see what this looks like as it continues to play out, but like I said, our focus is on the Colts.
Jerod, you said back in October, I believe, when this first happened, that there would be some kind of internal investigation. Has something been satisfied from that investigation?
Yeah, look, I fully understand the question, and look, the process has to, it's going to take time. The legal process outside the building and, what we think happened inside the building. But at the same time, the NFL has, taken him off of that commissioner's exempt list, and that's what we have to roll with.
Do you anticipate getting Caden Wallace back at practice this week?
He's close. It's kind of the same conversation that we had with, with Barmore and the Strange of the world. Like, he's getting closer and closer. And again, once he's ready to go, he'll go out there and hopefully help our football team.
Just one more question on Peppers. Has he addressed the team as a group? Will he do something like that, or is this just sort of he arrives and he just takes over back where he was?
I kind of want to, just keep private conversations private. Look, he has a good relationship with everyone in this organization, and we'll just keep all that stuff in-house.
Will he still be a captain?
We'll keep that conversation in-house as well.
Is he in the building today?
He's in the building today.
Jerod, did the league explain to you why he was removed from the exempt list when he was?
Look, I'm not in those conversations. For me, it's been about really just trying to get this team ready to play a big game for us because it's the next game.
Is taking over defensive play calling something that you'd be open to this season?
No, look, I'm not. DeMarcus is doing a good job as far as calling plays. It comes down to executing what play is called.
How disappointed were you with after looking on it, the miscommunications in the secondary from a lot of guys that have played together before?
Yeah, very, very disappointing, especially in critical moments. Look, the communication has to be better at the second level and the third level. It was very disappointing, especially in the red area. And look, we just have to get better.
To go off of that, with Kyle Duggar and some of the missteps, maybe Sunday, is any of that tied to the ankle injury? Or is that kind of completely independent of that?
No, to me, anytime we put a player out there, he's healthy enough to play. And if you're healthy enough to play, then the expectation is that you're going to perform at a high level.
Coach, this time of year you hear about the rookie wall. Do you address that with the guys, or is it just sort of, cross that bridge when we get there?
No, I don't really believe in the rookie wall, and I don't believe that it happens, in a certain week. There are certain times throughout the season that, you have your ups and downs, and you just have to have the mental toughness to be able to push through.
Jerod, there have been some questions throughout the season about some of the decisions on fourth down and aggressiveness. Given where you're at as an organization, kind of first year as a coach and trying to establish things, do you think there's merit to being more aggressive, to kind of setting that standard like the Lions have done?
Yeah, I would say, every game is unique in itself. And ultimately it falls on me to make those decisions. There will be games, we're a game plan team that we are aggressive on fourth down. There'll be other games where maybe not so much. And I would also say that, there are different factors that go into those decisions, like where we are in the game, where we are on the field, and things like that.
The decision to invite Jabrill back and have practice and potentially play, is that something you and Elliott had to run by ownership?
No, my thing is, look, my focus has been on the Colts. As soon as the NFL took them off the commissioner's exempt list, then that part of it allows them to be here, and that's what we're going by.
After the loss in London, you were very, forthcoming about your team, where you felt what you felt about it. They responded. How do you feel coming out of this one, and how do you think that they'll respond?
Yeah, to me, it's very easy, to take the last game and to play as bad as we played, and look, the sky is falling. You just remind those guys of where we were going before that, and and how we have to win, and how we can win, and put ourselves in positions to win.
Coach, when it comes to the on-field discipline issues, I know you acknowledge that personnel changes could be on the table, but also that with depth concerns, sometimes that's not an option. So what else goes into trying to fix those issues, especially when, if there's repeat offenses?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's tough. A lot of those, the most frustrating penalties to me are always the pre-snap penalties, because that is really just a lack of focus and a lack of detail, and we have to clean that stuff up.
Do you expect Jabrill to play on Sunday?
Look, again, he's off the list. I anticipate him being able to practice. At some point in time, we'll get to that bridge when we get there.
Do you anticipate making more, say, drastic changes to your starting offensive line?
I mean, look, that's a fair question. I would say the one thing that we've talked about all year is trying to build continuity up front and letting those guys grow together, as well as grow with the starting quarterback and the receivers as well. And that's always been my mindset there.
City's played a ton of football here last year, and this year, after the injury, it seems like he's had a hard time getting on the field, and when he has, maybe hasn't been to the level that we saw last season. What are you seeing there? What's happened with his development?
For me, with City, and he'll sit here and tell you the same thing, it's just about being more consistent. And, when you put guys out there on the field, regardless of position, you need to be consistent, and he understands that.
What do you think Drake May is learning from this recent string of games?
I think Drake, look, once again, it's very easy to forget that he's a rookie quarterback. What I will say is the one thing that he is definitely going to improve going forward is just the turnovers, and we can't play that way. He understands that.
Is there a fear of having Jabrill play without having all the information, without having this go through the legal process, without knowing everything, just knowing what could come out?
No, look, you always have to assume that things come out. What I will say, just in regards to Jabrill, is that, we released that statement, and, he's off the list, and we anticipate him being at practice soon. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.